What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Streamed and Screened, an entertainment podcast about movies and TV from Lee Enterprises. I'm Terry Lipshetz, managing editor to the national news remit Lee. I'm stuck in Wisconsin. It's been raining here nonstop, but I'm joined by Bruce Miller, the well-tanned Bruce Miller, because he's been hanging out in California instead of Sioux City, Iowa, where he normally is, because he's the longtime entertainment reporter and editor there. Bruce, welcome back.
And worried about getting out because of the way the airplanes were.
That's right.
That was a real fear factor. But
were you on a Delta flight by any chance?
Yes, I was.
Ooh,
yes, I was.
Yes.
We had mechanical difficulties and we had to switch planes. And we were in Minneapolis we had to go from one end of the airport to the other end. And I'm thinking, why do they not have those carts around? You know how they always are like mowing you down with those carts in the airport? Why are they not like loading them up and putting all the people who are stuck at this one gate waiting for the plane and move them over together? So that was my complaining. But I soaked in so much stuff. We've got lots of content for the future because I talked to just about everybody. We had a good kind of reveal for the Emmy nominations. I was at the television critics. Remember we talked about them? They had their awards. Shogun walked off with a whole bunch of them. I was surprised because I didn't think it was that beloved, but I guess it was. Got to see Mark Frost, who was one of the creators of Twin Peaks. They got one of those kind of heritage awards.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that was fun. Wendy McClendon Covey was the host, and she was lots of fun, but she said her husband had COVID, and I'm thinking, what are you doing out if your husband has COVID? There you are. So it was a fun kind of night. Baby Reindeer people were there in heavy force. And I think Baby Reindeer is going to be a real strong contender for the Emmys.
That was maybe the craziest TV I've watched all year.
Yeah, and isn't it, and all of them were nominated, it seems. Everybody you could think of got a nomination for the Emmys. It's weird, though, how people now in Hollywood are complaining about The Bear being in the comedy category. I mean, it's like nonstop. And I would not doubt that could hurt it. And people will say, you're right. This should have been in drama. We didn't laugh once. And we're not going to give him the award. And I think that the one who's waiting in the wings to pick up that dropped Emmy because they're in the wrong category is Hacks. I think Hacks will be the one that could win Best Comedy Series.
It's interesting you bring that up because I feel like in the first season, The Bear was sort of a comedy. Like it was a black comedy, right? It's right. One of those that it's a drama. It's kind of serious, but it's funny. You do laugh at it because it has those comedic moments.
Those wild moments where they couldn't control what was going on.
Right. But then you kind of start thinking about it and it's like, well, is it really a comedy? It's not. It's a drama. It's a really good drama. And if they went over into the dramas, it would probably still win because it's that good.
Right. The second season was bleak too.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch season 3 yet. It's kind of like on the up next on my watching list because I am just coming to the slowest of slow slogs on Shogun. Because it's like I keep starting it and stopping it and starting it. And it's really good. Like I want to just preface this by saying it's a really good series. It deserves all the nominations it gets. But I feel like first of all, and we've talked about this many times before, I have such a busy day with work and family and kids and all this. Most of my TV viewing doesn't even start really until like 9, 10 o'clock at night. And, just reading the subtitles, it can be brutal. Like my eyes are tired, I'm falling asleep. You can kind of watch a show if it's in English, you can kind of watch it, and if your eyelids get a little heavy, you can just listen to it and you're fine. I don't speak Japanese, so I'm out, So
That is your feeling, not theirs, right?
right. But
You learned it.
yeah, but I have felt all along with this series, like it's so good. However, my asterisk on it is that all these episodes, which are about an hour long, can probably be shortened to about 40 minutes if they did a little bit more editing. And I kind of also feel like 10 episodes was, if it was strictly a limited anthology series like it originally was planned to be, I mean, okay, I can see doing 10 because you're mirroring the book or whatever.
Sure.
But if it's gonna be a year in, year out series, like I don't think it has enough. It's not like a Game of Thrones where you can give me 8 to 10 episodes in an hour. It's a lot. It's very dense, and it feels like more of a 40-minute episode kind of thing. It's good. I mean, I've got like I literally have like 30 minutes left before I get to the end. But the last 2, 3 episodes of it are just killer TV. I mean, it's really, really good, and I don't want to stop watching it. But those first 7, it's yeah, it's a plod to get to the end.
Wow. Good luck with that. Well, I don't know where they're going to go with it. I don't
Yeah.
see the door. I think that somebody said, you know what? It's going to be an easier category if we're in best drama than if we're in best limited series. And so they made a decision. All they have to do is one episode for a second season, and they've hit it.
And maybe that's what they'll do. Maybe they'll say, you know what, let's just come back and do 6 episodes for a season 2 and
Yeah.
call it. And you could do that easily.
Hero, the man who produced it and was really instrumental in seeing it, I talked to them at the TCA Awards, and Anna plays the lead female role. We're really surprised at the love that they've been shown with this series. They couldn't believe that they were winning awards and that they could be a big hit at the Emmys. And they got the most Emmy nominations of anybody, 25. This year with the Emmy, can I talk Emmys?
Yeah, let's do it.
Some of those big numbers come as a result of the best guest actor category, the best supporting actor or actress category. So they can get big numbers by having 3 or 4 in those categories. And that means that just take those off the top and you're down to maybe it's a 10 Emmy nomination series for them.
Right.
Because they're going to have to compete against each other in a couple of these categories. There's no way they can win 25 Emmys.
I mean, it's still a lot. I mean, it is, and it was a really well done program. But, you kind of go to like a Shogun and you look, if they didn't turn it into a drama, it's going up against Baby Reindeer. It's going up against Fargo, Lessons in Chemistry, Ripley, and True Detective Night Country. Now, of all those, the only one I didn't see was Ripley. Baby Reindeer was amazing. That was a great show. Fargo, that may have been the best. If it wasn't the best season of Fargo, it's the second best season. Maybe that first season was better. Lessons in Chemistry was a really well done show. I love that. It was one I wasn't sure if I was going to get into or not, and I got hooked from the beginning. It was really good. And True Detective, after that kind of second season where you didn't know where things were going, it got better with season 3, and this is a really solid season for me as well. So it's like, I don't know, Shogun in the limited anthology, I don't even know who wins.
I don't think it could. No.
Yeah.
I don't think it could win in that category, but in the drama, it could.
Yeah.
Because look at it,
Yeah.
How many times are you going to give it to The Crown? And I don't know that the ending is all that.
Yeah. It's a thin, I mean, this is just my own opinion. I haven't watched enough of those drama series. Like, I watched The Crown. I didn't see Fallout. The Gilded Age, I watched season 1, episode 1, and I never picked it up again after that.
Gilded Age is like discount Bridgerton
Right, exactly.
Downton Abbey, one of those kind of things. So it isn't necessarily deserving in that category, but they need X number of nominees. So it's in there.
It's the New York version of Bridgerton, or right. I mean, it's it takes place in what, 1880s New York City.
It is great to see all those theater actors. If you know any of them, oh my God, it's Audra McDonald. If you don't know them, it's just another one of those sloggy kind of period pieces.
So does Shogun, are they the favorite in drama?
I think so. I think they're going to win that.
I agree.
And I do think Baby Reindeer has a good shot at winning the other one because it's specific. It was very crafted for that limited audience. It was fresh and new, and it doesn't look like you would have another season if they tried.
Yeah, it'd be tough to do another one. What's if it's not Baby Reindeer, what are you thinking? Is it Fargo?
I think Fargo has a good shot, but it's already won, so it isn't like it needs it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Is it may have been the better show, but I don't know if it's just so unique, Baby Reindeer.
And he's nominated.
Yeah.
The woman who plays his stalker is nominated. The woman or the man who plays the molester is nominated.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on with Baby Reindeer. And I think it'll get the push. Interestingly enough, some of the Oscar people from the last year were nominated. Robert Downey Jr. is in there. Da'Vine Joy Randolph is nominated. Lily Gladstone is nominated, but we do not see Emma Stone. She was a likely one, not nominated this year. So we'll see what happens with that. The one that made me the most excited was that Reservation Dogs got some love before it ended. This was the last season for that series. And DeFaro Wunatai, the young boy who plays Bear, was nominated for Best Actor. And to me, that is just a joy. I would love to see it happen. It's not, but I would love to see that happen.
At crucial stages, business owners ask themselves, how am I going to do this? It's not about doubt. It's about opportunity with the right financial partner. At Sandy Spring Bank, we work alongside businesses in the DMV. It's the best part of being a community bank. With our Flex Business Checking, loans, and lines of credit, we're the here's how for thousands of area businesses. What's your next financial destination? Sandy Spring Bank. Visit sandyspringbank.com/business. Member FDIC.
Okay, you say, I want some breakfast. Your so-called boyfriend says, we got eggs in the fridge. Obviously, when you say breakfast, you mean McDonald's. Definitely a side-eye situation.
Bring home the bacon, steak patty, or others with a BOGO for $1 breakfast. Only in the app. Limited time only at participating McDonald's. Valid once a day. Must opt into rewards. Visit McD app for details.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Comedy series, it's like I've seen The Bear. I haven't seen the new season, but the nominated season I have, and it was really good. But again, is it really a comedy or is it a drama?
And like I say, that will trip it up.
Yeah. The rest of them I really haven't watched. I've never watched Abbott Elementary. I haven't seen Hacks. I've only watched, I think, one episode of Only Murders in the Building, and it didn't really suck me in. So I kind of moved on. Palm Royale, I kind of watched one episode and was like, it wasn't really my thing.
I don't know how that gets in there because it wasn't good. Yeah, just because it has big names in it doesn't mean it will be there. Carol Burnett was comatose for most of it, and she's nominated for, is this correct?
She was doing a tremendous job of sitting still.
Give her an Emmy. Let's give her one more, right?
Yep. Exactly. Curb Your Enthusiasm. I mean, but it almost feels like a really weak category. So it was a stretch. So who wins the comedy series? Is it going to be The Bear?
I think it should be The Bear because it had that one episode, the one where it was the whole family together eating. That was a flashback with Jamie Lee Curtis, who better win for Best Guest Performer. But that episode alone was responsible for most of the Bears nominations. I mean, in all these categories, they use their Fishes episode as the one that they were putting up there. I think it should win. If it doesn't, it's going to be Hacks because Hacks, a very strong season. It was funny. It shows that that's what a traditional comedy should be. it should make you laugh in the course of a series.
I mean, I'll have to go back and watch that at some point.
Now, you could see Abbott Elementary because that's like the only network one, but
that would require me to watch network TV.
You got to turn on that network.
I do.
Get away from those streaming services and you'll be fine.
Exactly.
There are some network shows next year that I think you might like. So when we get talking to that, I might be able to coerce you into going to network TV.
Okay. We will stay tuned on that. But the one final point, I guess, before we close out on Emmys, for years and years, and then even if you look back at like who won big last year, it was HBO. I mean, HBO has, ever since they got away from the whole, like, we don't, you got to win a Cable Ace award because we're not going to allow
you're not in the Emmy.
Right, you're not in the Emmy. So once they did away with that dumb rule and they let anybody in who is making good TV, HBO just started crushing it, from The Sopranos all the way up till, Game of Thrones and Succession and all that. But following Succession, there hasn't been a good succession of HBO programming. They've kind of, we'll see how things go. I know they've got obviously the spin-off series House of the Dragon, but FX for Hulu, man,
always is good.
Wow. I mean, it's almost like they filled the void, and I don't know where they came from. I mean, I think back 10 years ago, I mean, I had FX on my cable, but I never watched it.
The president of the network is very good at letting creative types go on their own. He is not sending notes and twisting arms and doing all that kind of stuff. He tells them, go make a great show. And they come back with great shows. And that's why FX is so good. They always land on the top 10 lists for critics in a number of spots. And that's largely because he is such a good executive. They should sweep him up for somebody else, because is this enough? But it gives us good TV. So that's what we want.
And think about this with Hulu. When I look at what programming I have kind of like saved in my playlist of things to watch, if you removed all those FX for Hulu programs, there isn't a whole lot of stuff that I have saved. I think FX is really what keeps me subscribed to Hulu, because there's just so much good programming on there. Now, of course, I have it bundled with Disney Plus and ESPN Plus, so I guess maybe
You're getting them all.
I'm getting it all anyway. But it's really, when I look at like, all right, well, what am I going to watch next? What did I have saved? And it's another FX program, and they're all good. I
have an interview coming up for a new one called American Sports Story. Oh. And it's about Aaron Hernandez and his journey, if you will. Fascinating. It's fascinating. And I think it's a really good series. You'll like it. I think you'll discover they certainly point to what happened in his life. Where did things go wrong? And it's fascinating to hear the actors talk. And again, I'll share this later as we get closer to it. But one of the actors said, I said, well, did you study the character that you're playing? And he said, I don't even know football. Yeah. So the idea that I would be studying somebody is like, no, it's not going to happen. So yeah, but that's a good one, and I think you'll enjoy it, and that's on FX. It's coming up this next year.
That'll be an interesting one, because his plot twist, his football career did not end well.
Right.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's just murders, and then obviously he died by suicide in prison. Right. But it's such a sad story. Alert. Yeah, spoiler alert. We know how it ends. But it's I mean, it's just a shocking twist, and I guess it. It's one of those shows it's the type of story that lends itself to an interesting show, right? Because and we've seen this numerous times with real life programming getting converted to drama series, miniseries.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy what it has to say.
Yeah. Now, speaking of period dramas, you have one, right?
I was enamored with Hotel Portofino when it first started. It's going to be in its third season. It starts this week. Its third season. It's about a family, largely the wife owns a hotel in Italy. It's set in the 20s and 30s. And so you see the rising tide of fascism in Italy, and that becomes a kind of an undertone for all of this. it shows how the family is separating too, because the wife wants to continue doing this hotel. Her husband wants to go back to England and be kind of the king of whatever. His fortunes are largely wasted. In the new season, you see them kind of struggling with where do I fit in, each of them. And what are they going to do? Are they going to stay together? Are they splitting apart? And what do they do about this rising tide of fascism in Italy? Their son becomes an involved party. I had a great time interviewing the stars. Natasha McElhone plays Bella, who is the woman who owns the hotel. In fact, she talked about, I said, what's up with that wig of yours? Because her hair is just like standing straight out. And I said, what's the deal with that? And she said, well, you know what? When I was fitted for the wig, it was in London. And what happened is the humidity isn't the same in London as it is in Italy. So when you get to Italy, the thing just kind of springs out and there you are. But in Los Angeles, I talked to Mark Umbers, who plays her husband, Cecil. The interesting thing I learned about him was he was in the original redone version of Merrily We Roll Along on Broadway. They had done it in London, and he was directed by the same director. And he talked about what that all was like for him, working with Stephen Sondheim, and also what this season means for his character in Hotel Portofino. So I have an interview here with Mark Umbers from Hotel Portofino. How far apart did the two become? We've only seen the first one. Are you guys going to be like quite separate from each other, or do you get back together?
I think put it this way, Cecil is still in love with her, and I think still wants to be in her life, and he will stop at nothing to try and achieve that. But whether she wants that remains to be seen.
Oliver, who plays your son, said that it's actually at a villa that you film, right?
Yes, yeah.
How is that for you to kind of get into character? Is it much easier because you're at a place like that, or is it just more trouble because you've got all these?
I mean, it can be trouble. Like, some of the rooms are very tiny and it's extremely hot, and obviously the villa isn't air conditioned or anything. But it always helps to how you kind of the verisimilitude, and you're there where it's set, and you're not in a studio. So it makes it a lot easier.
And he also talked about the clothes. That the clothes were really, it got to be a little too much after a while because they were hot. Is that true too?
It's true, yeah. You'd be wearing kind of, dinner suits and white tie and tails. That's the killer. Doing
something like this, which continues on and on and on, is that a better way of telling a story, or do you like to complete it with the,
It's a different muscle to use. I think when you're, I still get a thrill of receiving the scripts before the season and go, what is he going to do this year?
Right.
It's terrible. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that challenge, and I enjoy kind of unpicking that puzzle. I would love, though, at some point to do. I hope we sort of go back to films at one point. So you get a script where you A to Z and you know what it is, and you can plan your art, which of course you can do season to season.
Sure,
but not the whole thing.
Yeah,
it's not up to you. You don't get to see it.
But you have all those options. That's what's so great.
Yeah, tons of options with Cecil, because there's so many shades to him. And he can be a completely different character in one scene to the next, depending on who he's talking to.
And you can hate him too.
You can hate him, but you can also love him. That's what I like. That's what I like about, because I find him really entertaining, even though he's terrible human. There's something, the fact that he doesn't care about insulting people. That's what I find.
What did you use for research with this? Did you?
I didn't have to. I mean, I've done a lot of period drama, so I had a really clear sense of who he was from the script. I had to read up a little bit on the Bow Award, but other than that, I knew how he spoke. I could see how how he walked and how his body was held and stuff.
Did you get a sense? I can relate to this guy? Is there something in it about him that you...
I don't think I relate to him. He's a very typical kind of British aristocratic entitled person.
Okay.
And I don't have anything in common with people like that. But I do understand where his sense of powerlessness comes from and what informs a lot of the decisions he makes. It's a very interesting time, the 20s, for someone of his generation, because he's very much a Victorian, and that whole world has ended. The world he was brought up to inherit has vanished, and his wife is the one that owns the business, and You know, it's he doesn't have the power that he was raised to believe he was going to get in adult life, and that leaves him very much at sea.
Is it a freeing thing, or is it a...
No, I think it makes him panic. You think he has to, that's why he's constantly trying to kind of reach for things that will give him some kind of relevance in the world, because he doesn't have it.
Bruce, thank you for that interview. Sounds like a good program. Might have to go and check that one out. So I finally made it back to the movie theater again.
What took you there? Oh, the kids wanted to go see something.
Right. No, actually, the wife and I wanted to go see something, and we took the kids with us. We went to see Twisters.
Did you bring the bucket?
We did not. We ended up deciding to go out to dinner for pizza after the movie. We actually went to the IMAX theater to go see it on the big screen. I will say this, I was a little disappointed with it from the IMAX perspective, because it is not an IMAX movie. They just put it on the giant screen and charged you extra for it. And I mean, obviously you got the really good audio with it. I mean, it's like you heard it go in and the wind whipping and all of that. Yes. So that was good, but it was, I thought it held up really well compared to the original. You know, it was totally different, new cast, new everything, but yeah, it was a good story. We watched the original with the kids before we went to see the new one. They liked the new one a lot better. I think they thought some of the mid-90s CGI was a little cheesy, which, you know, I could see that when you grow up on nothing but insanity that we have now. But I thought, you know, movie to movie, they each kind of stand on their own. There's obviously a connection at the beginning from the whole like Dorothy type of weather thing, right? So they bring that back briefly. So you connect the two movies together, but they stand on their own. There's not, you know, I read an interesting article, and I don't remember where this was. Maybe it was a New York Times review or what. But they said like too much of the reboots these days relies on bringing back the old cast, right? You got to bring everybody back from the past, and then it becomes this like, well, you know, the Beverly Hills Cop thing, would all these cops still be on the force like 40 years later? Of course not. It's ridiculous.
They all don't need their moment, but they give them one anyway.
Right. So it's like, it's sort of a reboot, I guess, or it's sort of a continuation, or it's sort of a sequel. But if you didn't see the original, it wouldn't even matter, because there's nothing other than that, you know, the Dorothy connection at the beginning. It's a totally different movie, and they're just chasing storms on their own.
And one more little thing is that Bill Paxton's son is in the beginning of the film, and he plays someone working in the weather service with Daisy Edgar Jones. So you'll see him, he gets a line, and you'll look at him and you'll say, he kind of does look like his dad. But that's the only tie there. I did have one other one to tell you, though, about that, is that one of the characters, he plays the partner of Javi, and they're in the truck all the time together, and he wears a baseball cap. I never seen him without a baseball cap. That's David Cornsweet, and he is going to be the new Superman. He's filming that right now, and he will be in the new movie, which is slated to be next summer, the 2025. So you can look at him and see he really does a good job as being Clark Kent and not Superman, because he didn't look like Superman to me. So, but I got to ask you, when they got to the point where they told him, this is a spoiler, everybody get into the movie theater, did you suddenly think, is this theater safe? Should I be in here in case one of these storms comes?
It looked like a really, really poorly constructed theater. Well, not poorly constructed. It was probably fine in 1930. But yeah, this, of all the places you could go, it seemed like the absolute worst. That, you know, the funny thing too for me, I don't know if you knew this, but I have a moonlighting gig outside of my day job where I'm an umpire. I'm a baseball and I'm a softball umpire. So I do a lot of games, and we're pretty strict for good reason when it comes to the weather. And as soon as they had there was that scene in that town with the softball game going on, that umpire called the game off like way too late. There was lightning in the background and everything. And first time you see lightning, you gotta get them off the field fast.
Where do you go? Where should you go if you're at a baseball or softball game?
That's actually a good question because most of the time you're out in the open and there's not necessarily, you don't want to go underneath the tree. I think the recommendation is you just head back to your car and
The dugout wouldn't be a place to go, or
no, the metal chain link fences are probably not
okay.
a good place to. It would depend. I mean, if you have a dugout with a roof on it, and that would probably be safe. I mean, some places have pavilions where they've got their concession stands and stuff, so that would probably be an option.
Well, good. I'm glad you like Twisters because it's big. But
it is.
This week we're getting another big one, and that's the Deadpool Wolverine movie.
Mm-hmm.
From my friends who have seen it already, they say clearly it's the movie of summer because it has so many callbacks to things that you thought were dead in the Marvel universe. So be ready for that. And it's funny. But okay. I'm going to warn you this, it's a very hard R. So do not think this is one for the kids unless you're a hard R family. Yeah, so that's next week. I can hardly wait. We have
Excellent.
something to look forward to. It'll get us to Friday, right?
Absolutely. So there we go.
Yeah, no wild news on the horizon, hopefully. No bad weather.
Right, exactly. All right, so we're going to go and we'll relax. I'll finish Shogun. You got more movie reviews to do, and we'll be back again next week with another episode of Streamed and Screen.
Can I really do this? It's what everyone asks at every new stage of life. Sandy Spring Bank has you covered with personalized solutions to buy a house or improve the one you've got, or to grow your business, because that helps our community grow. We'll show you how to save more for the future, wherever it brings you. What's your next financial destination? Sandy Spring Bank. Visit sandyspringbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 406382.
Be warned that once you pick up a refreshingly cold drink from McDonald's and people see just how refreshingly cold that drink from McDonald's is, you may create drink envy. Because there are drinks, then there are drinks from McDonald's.
For a morning brew that really creates a stir, get any size iced coffee, including caramel and French vanilla, for just 99 cents before 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.